not fully scripted today, so hopefully I'll be able to get this recorded in 40 minutes because I've got to go to the airport in exactly 1 hour. So today is the first in what I think is going to be a 6-part series about the perfect gifts for knitters. So there are a lot of videos out there about perfect gifts that knitters can make for their loved ones. But this video is about perfect gifts that loved ones can gift to their knitter. Let's talk about covetable knitting kits that any knitter would love to receive as a gift. Starting strong with the Hebridean company called Virtual Yarns. So if your knitting loved one, or let's face it, it's probably you, is a fan of historical fiction such as Wolf Hall or Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel, stories about court life during the reign of Henry VIII and the Tudor period, or if your knitter loves the TV show Outlander or perhaps Game of Thrones, then the kits that are available on the Virtual Yarns website are totally for that knitter. So let's take a look at some of these incredible design kits that are available on the Virtual Yarns website. Starting off with my favourite, the Polaris. Polaris is a defining constant in the northern sky on the Hebridean Islands. So this design was intended to have a high contrast because of the definition of the Polaris star in the northern sky. It's lovely the way that Alice actually takes her experiences and the things that she observes around her in her life and translates that brilliantly into unbelievably beautiful knitting kits. So the Polaris has a tessellated star pattern and it's framed with a deep 3x3 rib, and the entire cardigan is made in 2 colours, giving you that high contrast, whilst a third colour is embellished on afterwards. And I suspect that that's actually duplicate stitched afterwards because it's just 1 row of a little pop throughout the star motif on this cardigan. So I absolutely love this kit, and it would be #1 on my wish list for Christmas. Price range of the Polaris runs between £91 and £116. So, you know, it is a pretty big investment. Having said that, compare that to the price of these Angora net BOHUS stickning kits. I actually think that there's a lot of value in the Alice Starmore Virtual Yarns kits. So my #1 would be the Polaris. The second one I want you to have a look at is the Delta. Now this Delta is available in a cropped or a standard fit, and the price range is between £90 and £145 for the full kit, which includes the pattern card, all the yarn, and you have to provide your own needles. So the shoreline, what Alice says about the Delta is on the shoreline on the Isle of Lewis is a constantly changing environment. And when the winds sweep over the sands, they create these tessellated diamond patterns on the sand, and the water, as the tide comes in and out, also creates these diamond patterns. And that was the inspiration for the motif on the Delta cardigan, and also for the 2 colourways that it comes in. One of them is a sand colourway and the other one is a watery colourway. So if your gift recipient isn't one for complex Fair Isle or is after something that is a little more relaxing, what about checking out this stripy Breton sweater? The price of this particular kit runs from about £87 through to about £111, and it's inspired by the simple nautical stripes that were the feature of the fishermen's sweaters off the coast of Brittany. And you can see it here shown in natural colours of, there's a base colour of beige with a navy and then a pop of a reddish brown stripe throughout the jumper. So as in all Alice Starmore designs, each one of these kits is fully customizable from the range of Hebridean yarns that she provides. And there are hundreds of colours in those yarns, and each one of them is inspired from the natural landscape that she sees around her. I personally would always go with what Alice recommends because I think there's no one on earth as good as choosing colours for Fair Isle designs as that designer. Alice Starmore is an actual national treasure. Her books are considered to be important texts that are keeping the art of Fair Isle knitting alive, and she has actually devoted her entire life to creativity and to making incredible designs in knitting patterns that actually reflect the beauty and ruggedness of the coast on the Lewis Islands and the Faroe Islands. Now, the Faroe Islands aren't the Fair Isle Islands, but I'm talking generally about that style of knitting that is traditionally coming from that geographical area. So Alice doesn't just design colour work. She's also a master in textured and Aran designs. So if your knitter that you're buying for is more into Aran and textured sweaters, then there's something for them on the Alice Starmore's Virtual Yarns website as well. Have a look at this stunning Scarborough design. Prices run from £102 through to £145 for this particular design, and it comes in 6 sizes. My favourite in the Aran sweaters and the textured sweaters has to be the INNISHMORE. This incredibly detailed pattern is over 30 years old, and I think is equally as wearable now as it was 30 years ago. It comes in 6 sizes and is suitable for all genders. Another gift that any knitter would absolutely love to find under the tree on Christmas Day. And for something completely different for the very creative knitter in your life, or the knitter who is unafraid of making a statement with their clothing or wanting to knit something that really is a representation of their personality, Alice doesn't just design traditional wearable garments. She's also got a creativity that runs to the theatrical, and she's particularly skilled at taking a costume period and translating that into wearables. Have a look at her incredible feathered collar range, which she designs as standalone pieces that you can wear as, you know, full-blown statement pieces. They are incredibly intricate. They're a bit costumey for my particular taste, but there's absolutely no doubt that they are incredibly beautifully designed, and I love looking at them. And in some ways, I wish I was brave enough to wear one of these. Actually, Claire from Claire Likes to Knit has knitted one of these feather collars, and it just looks fantastic on her. Go and check out her channel, and I'll link it in the description if you want to see that one of these Alice Starmore designs made in real time. Look, I just think Alice has just got a unique ability to take elements from period costume or theatrical costume and translate those into wearable garments. So I'll just run you through a quick slideshow of some of the incredible other items that are available on the Virtual Yarns website in kit form. I think these have been around for decades, and her website has also been around for a very long time. A little bit hard to navigate the website, but absolutely anything from Virtual Yarns would just be the delight of any experienced knitter in your life. Right, so continuing on with the theme of showcasing my favourite knitting kits, and I think a knitting kit that any advanced knitter would love. I think we'll move into something a little bit more contemporary now, and you can't go past Mari Wallen. Mari Wallen also is a master of knitwear design. She's been designing for many decades. She was the head designer at Rowan for quite a few years and finished up there in about 2014 when she started her own business called Mari Wallen Designs. This one is one of Mari Wallen's. This is the Primrose kit, and I knitted that from a kit that I bought from the Mari Wallen website. Actually, it was bought for me for a significant birthday a couple of years ago, and I knitted that from the Mari Wallen's British Breeds range of yarn. Mari Wallen Designs offer a fresh take on the traditional Fair Isle cardigans and pullovers. Her own range of yarns comes in an array of beautiful colours, all of which are designed to actually go together. So if you were to pick and mix the colours from any of Mari Wallen's kits, chances are you'll have a visually pleasing garment. Although I chose the colours in a lot of the motifs here, and I'm not sure that I did the most amazing job. I still like it, but I think I probably would have done better to just literally go with what Mari has actually suggested. So let's have a look at some of the designs available on the Mari Wallen website, some of my favourite. In this range, my personal favourites would have to be the Primrose, which I've made, the Ashling, which is pink, and the Winter Hot Water Bottle cover. But let me just show you a range of the Mari Wallen kits that are available. Okay, so now we're going to transport ourselves into complete fantasy land. I'm going to show you a series of knitting kits from a company called Angora Net, and they are Bohus stickning knits. They were featured on Fruity Knitting a couple of years ago, and I have actually been looking at these kits since the early 2000s when the whole company was actually run by a different person, and that company went out of business, and I was very sad because I'd never been able to afford one of the kits prior to the company going out of business. So I was absolutely delighted when I found out that Pernilla Silverberg had actually revived the Bohus stickning kit business on her Angora rabbit farm in Sweden, in the Bohus area in Sweden. And for my 50th birthday, my husband actually bought me a Bohus stickning kit. Now, I will say when I was researching for this particular video, I was very disappointed to see, and I guess that's just life, isn't it, that these kits are actually a full $300 more expensive than they were when I bought mine 8 years ago, and it was really expensive then. So the full jumper and cardigan kits on the Angora Net website, with full disclosure, are running at about $800. And that is an extreme investment. The yarn itself, though, is Angora yarn that's been hand cut from Pernill's rabbits, and it's a blend of Angora and Merino. The colours are hand dyed by Pernilla on her farm, and I think the main colours are actually factory dyed, and the yarn is actually spun in a mill specially for them in Denmark. So it really is a cottage industry. There's nothing big box about these knitting kits. They really are a labour of love. If you watch the Fruity Knitting video and you see Pernilla hand cutting the fur off these rabbits, it really is the cutest thing you've ever seen. So these Bohus stickning kits come from that's gonna move. Just need to get that to sit still, otherwise it'd be distracting. Right. So if your knitter is into heritage technique, slow fashion, and colour work that tells a story, then these Bohus knitting kits are right up their alley. Because these kits use fine gauge and multiple colours, they demand all your attention. But, you know, that is part of the joy of knitting, isn't it? So the tradition of Bohus stickning, if we step back in time to 1939, the Depression hit the Bohus area really hard. And the unemployment in the stone quarrying districts was really high. The local women in the area approached the governor's wife, and her name was Emma Jacobson. And in September, they asked the governor's wife, could she think of any initiatives that might be able to be implemented in the town that would help the women of the town, the housewives, contribute to the financial stability of their households. And so Emma Jacobson really took that task on with gusto, and she created the BOHUS STICKNING Foundation. And knitting wasn't traditionally a craft that was practiced in that area. She created like a camp situation where she would, or a college situation, where she would take groups of women from the local area and school them and train them in a residential sort of college situation for weeks at a time in how to create these incredible BOHUS STICKNING designs that she designed, and she also employed other designers to do. And that tradition of the BOHUS STICKNING actually stayed in business. It was very successful, and she stayed in business for some 30 years. Fast forward to the present day, and now we have this incredible company, Angora Net. This brand offers a revival of the BOHUS STICKNING knitting tradition and offers carefully curated knitting kits. I've got a book here called Poems of Colour that actually is a very good resource on the history of BOHUS STICKNING, and it's got lots and lots of photographs. Photographs of the knitwear designers, so there's Emma Jacobson herself. Photographs of the shop that show all the designs sitting there on the shelves. And actually I think it looks like they took a lot of photos back then. And there's the shop in all its glory from the 60s in the BOHUS STICKNING area in Sweden. It just looks like something off Are You Being Served? I love it. If you read this book, it becomes very apparent that the pursuit of improving the lives of the women in the BOHUS region was something that Emma Jacobson was absolutely committed to. And the investment and effort that's gone into these designs and these incredible knitting patterns is literally remarkable. It's a beautiful story of, triumph in the face of adversity. But I'm going to stop yapping now, and instead I'm just going to give you a visual journey of the incredible knitting kits that you can get from the Angora Net website. So have a look at these while I talk about some of my favourites. One of the more modern ones is the STARNONRA, or the Stars kit. It was developed in 2019 by Pernille Silverberg in consultation with one of the original BOHUS designers, Kirsten Olsen. So this is a new design, but it was developed from the original charts and garments that are held in the BOHUS Museum in Sweden. There's 2 colour options for this gorgeous sweater, and it's made using 50% hand-cut rabbit Angora and 50% New Zealand merino wool. As I mentioned, Pernille hand dyes the patterned wool yarn, and the base colour is made in a spinning mill in Denmark. So these BOHUS STICKNING knitting kits are the ultimate indulgence for the knitter who really has everything. They are faithful reproductions of the BOHUS traditional knitting patterns, and Pernille is carrying on the work of Emma Jacobson incredibly well. She's a remarkable steward for the tradition of the BOHUS STICKNING movement, the BOHUS STICKNING phenomena, the BOHUS STICKNING tradition. That's better, isn't it? Yes. All right, so other kits that are faithful reproductions of the BOHUS STICKNING tradition are the Forest Darkness, the Blue Flower, and my favourite, the Sago Palm. I wonder why I like that one. But one of the funniest ones, I think, is the Vattenmelon, or the watermelon. I love this one. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. But this one was nicknamed the Disgusting One by Emma Jacobson because it was no secret that she did not like pink as a contrast colour, and it was included in the collection in spite of the fact that she didn't like it, and it remains one of the most loved knitting designs in the museum. So this website lists dozens of kits, each with their original Swedish names and heritage references. The colour palettes, base yarns and pattern details all reflect the tradition. But as I said, be warned, the price of these is astronomical. It can go up to $750. But you don't have to spend all that money, and you don't have to just get a pullover. There's also patterns for hats, gloves and wristlets where you can get exactly the same effect and get the same enjoyment for knitting from knitting one of these bohus stickning traditional designs without the cost outlay. All right, and now for something completely different. If you've been watching The Game of Wool, I don't think you'll be surprised to see that it looks like there's something happening in the knitting world right now, and it's not beige. So forget that quiet luxury look of neutral Scandinavian designs. What we're looking at now is an absolute explosion of texture, colour and chunky knits that are bringing joy to a lot of new knitters. Now, I would probably not wear these things, but I'll tell you something straight up. I do love the fact that they exist, because anything that is bringing people into the craft, I'm all for. There's been a lot of publicity about The Game of Wool in the last couple of weeks, and I'm not really going to buy into it except to say it's a TV show, and the TV shows make money by getting sponsors. And the sponsors have been so far in the first 2 weeks, we've seen the sponsors are Rowan, and also last week it was Wool and the Gang, I think. You know, people want to feel something when they put their clothes on, and I can see that these knits are making people feel happy, and they're a celebration of self-expression, and they're statement pieces, and I'm all for it on other people. Anyway, have a look at these kits. They're perfect for students, artists and makers who prefer bold self-expression over tradition and conformity. You're going to get something wearable for a fraction of the time that it's going to take to make any of these very fine gauge garments, and they will be an expression of your own personality. I had to have a break of a week and I'm back again. Anyway, let's keep talking about these chunky knitting kits, shall we? My top 3 places for these kinds of kits, if the knitter in your life is bold, adventurous and loves a chunky knit and possibly a beginner. Number 1 is Wool and the Gang. They actually are a sponsor of the Game of Wool because their parent company also owns Rowan. You can see on Wool and the Gang that they actually are selling kits for the design that Holger made in episode 2 of the Game of Wool. My understanding is that Wool and the Gang have not actually compensated the designers for the design of their kits, nor are they getting any kind of kickback from the sales of these kits. The reason that they give for that is that their contract is in fact with the television show, not with the individual contestants. And legally, I suspect that's true. I think that actually the TV show, I'm talking about something else here, aren't I? Anyway, I think the TV show themselves are learning really fast that you can't upset the knitters online. It'll come back to bite you in the arse, that's for sure. Anyway, I'm digressing again. Let's have a look at some kits from Wool and the Gang. So first up, let's have a look at Wool and the Gang's Super Duper Sweater. This is a perfect beginner project for someone who wants to start with a jumper, and there's no ends to weave in because it's self-striping yarn and it's on stocking stitch on a chunky gauge, and the website suggests that this jumper can be made in 24 hours of knitting. The description of the yarns on this website is a little simplistic. They don't bog anyone down with any kind of detail, but they do say that this yarn is from Peru, that it's alpaca, and that the suppliers promote Peru's remote alpaca communities. They don't say exactly how. I do hope it's by paying them. Anyway, the price of the Super Duper sweater kit ranges from $123 to $160 and the kits include yarn, pattern and needles to make these super fun projects. The MELLOW blanket is made with an Aran weight cotton yarn called Shiny Happy Cotton, which I think is a little condescending, but I'm a bit of an old grump. They say that this Shiny Happy Cotton is a Vegan Society certified yarn, and I would hope so since it's made from a plant and not from an animal. And I don't know of any yarn processing step that actually involves the use of animals. So if it's cotton, 100% cotton, it's likely to be a vegan yarn, right? I just think that is an odd thing to say. That aside, this MELLOW blanket, garter stitch, stripes, and aimed again at a beginner knitter. Fantastic baby blanket for, you know, someone who's expecting a baby. Once again, it's going to include the yarn, the pattern, and the needles. Great gift for a beginner knitter. The second company that sell these fantastic, fun, chunky kits for beginner knitters is CARDIGANG. Now, CARDIGANG are actually a Melbourne-based outfit founded by two friends, Kat Blockson and Morgan Collins. So their aim is to redefine the world of knitting and crochet, which I didn't actually think that the world of knitting and crochet needed redefining, but, you know, thanks to Kat and Morgan, they're on it. In an initiative that they started as a lockdown pastime and has now grown into a mission to make DIY fun, colourful and irresistibly stylish. Okay, let me be the judge of that, CARDIGANG. I actually love these two. Their entrepreneurial attitude, their enthusiasm and the skill that they have that has created a fairly, what I'm pretty sure is a fairly successful business out of nothing during lockdown, I think is really commendable. So let's have a look at some of the kits available on the CARDIGANG website. I won't go into the detail, I'll just run a couple of screenshots of some of the fantastic products that they've got on their website. One of the things that CARDIGANG do is that they offer a choice between an acrylic version or a natural fibres version for many of their kits, and that really affects the price. And I think that for beginner knitters, this is an actually fantastic option because you don't necessarily want to outlay $200 plus on a project that might not end up being a passion project. And often acrylic yarns are in fact a great substitute for wool. And they're washable and they're easy to knit. And I do think that acrylic certainly does have a place, particularly in a beginner knitter's repertoire. I love the styling on the CARDIGANG website, the way that every single one of their models has got a great big smile on their face, and the colours they're using are really bright and happy. Now, CARDIGANG also actually offer some really cute Christmas themed kits. They've got a Christmas stocking knit kit and a Christmas bonbon knit kit. Both of those really reasonably priced. The Christmas stocking knit kit starts at $50 for a single stocking and $80 for two by the looks of things. And the set of 4 bonbons comes in at $55. That'd be a super fun gift to give someone for Christmas too, don't you think? When I was doing the research for this episode, another company kept coming up on my searches, and the name of that company is KNITATO. Now they stock a range of really chunky fun knitting kits too, and when I look at their about page, they're also run by an individual who lives in Perth, so they're an Australian based outfit as well. Anyway, so Karen is a self-confessed cat lady, lover of pretty things and DIY projects, and she's the OG knit potato here at KNITATO. So it says here, KNITATO is her passion project, born of her desire to share the joy of knitting with as many people as possible. Some of my favourites from the KNITATO site that I reckon would be fantastic gifts are the fried egg sweater for a beginner knitter. That is just so cute and fun. And as a matter of fact, I know a lot of girls in their 20s who would absolutely love this jumper and wear it to death. The all-over check beginner knit kit. Might be in Tarja, actually. No, it's not in Tarja. Comes in lots of colours that you can mix and match. And it's really cute too. It looks like a little box of macarons or one of those, what are they called? Those cakes that have got the checks in them. I'll put it on the screen if I can work it out. And the other pattern I really love from KNITATO is the My First Bonnet, the silk mohair beginning knit kit. Starts at about $69, and that's a super, super cute, trendy project. Anything from KNITATO would really suit that beginner knitter in your life or that young, trendy DIYer who wants to dip their toe into knitting. There are some really chic and trendy kits on the KNITATO website. Moving along now into yarn bundles. If you're not confident choosing a knitting kit for the knitter in your life, why not get them a great yarn bundle so they can choose their own pattern? I've got a selection of yarn bundles that are available that would warm the cockles of the heart of any knitter if they found this under the tree on Christmas Day. Let's start with the mistress of colour, La Bien-Aimée. Established in 2015, La Bien-Aimée is an artisanal dye studio located in Paris, France. AIMEE and her team dye beautiful and sophisticated colours of yarn that reflect a unique and vibrant point of view. I was greatly disappointed to hear that La Bien-Aimée closed their Paris studio because I always wanted to visit them in person. And I was watching Tash from Mostly Knitting last week, and she's off to Paris at the end of the month. And as luck would have it, La Bien-Aimée are opening a pop-up in Paris, and she's going to be there in time to get into that, and I'm very, very jealous of that. Anyway, I hope she really enjoys it. This dyer is renowned for collaborating with some of the leading knitwear designers on the planet. Designers like Joji Locatelli, Andrea Mowry, Stephen West, just to name a few, have all collaborated with AIMEE, and she's dyed bundles of yarn specifically for their super successful patterns over the years. She also has quite a few selections of what she calls yoke bundles, where if you've got a colourwork yoke sweater, and there are so many of them out there that any of these colourwork yoke bundles would work for lots of different patterns. And from someone like me who finds it really difficult to choose colours in colourwork yokes, or any colourwork project for that matter, I fully am all for these unbelievably beautiful yarn bundles. My all-time favourite has to be the KLEE yoke bundle. These curated bundles of yarn take the guesswork out of choosing up to, I think, 26 colours for the beautiful and hugely successful KLEE sweater designed by Midori Hirose. Now, I've tried to choose colours for the yoke of a KLEE sweater before, and it left me in a fugue state. So it would be my absolute dream to receive a KLEE yarn bundle. And my favourite colours are the AIMEE palette and the goldenrod palette. Coming in at €90 for the yoke only, plus any local taxes and tariffs. This is a pretty high-end, fairly luxe gift. But if you have got an advanced knitter who you'd love to spoil for Christmas, then I think you can't go past a KLEE yoke bundle. La Bien-Aimée are also masters in the fade kits. There are lots of fade kit options on the La Bien-Aimée website. The FLOURITE sweater bundle is an amazing fade, coming in at €199.50, which is the whole sweater, not just the yoke. There's a lot of bundles available for any of the Stephen West's fantastically bright coloured shawls that he's done in his knit-alongs over the last couple of years, and his dotted rays and his slip extravaganza and lots of those fantastic Stephen West shawls. If you're looking for an amazing bundle for one of those fantastic Stephen West brightly coloured, statement shawls, and you're feeling flushed, get on over to La Bien-Aimée because they've got some amazing options for you there. One of my favourites as well is the Patchwork bundle. That's actually one of AIMEE's own designs. If you like pops of fluoro colour on a neutral background, then this kit is certainly for you. It's also €150 before any kind of local taxes or tariffs. There's a lot of options on the INNISHMORE website for kits and bundles. I might just run you through a quick slideshow of them now while we head across the pond to the USA for the next bundle. No talk of yarn bundles would be complete without mentioning PURL SOHO. This New York-based yarn store has been exclusively online since I think it closed its brick and mortar store during COVID and never reopened. Again, another thing that I was very disappointed about because I was hoping to visit them one day too. Their clean and easy to navigate website is a dream to use, and this store offers kits for every make at any skill level. Most, if not all, of PURL SOHO patterns are free, and their suggestions for patterns on every one of their yarn pages are really fantastic. PURL SOHO patterns are the perfect bridge between the chunky fast knits that we looked at from Wool and the Gang and the more sophisticated Scandi style knits that have flooded the online community in recent years. Every PURL SOHO pattern is beautifully photographed and contains detailed instructions in words and in photos. And if you get in quick, I think there's currently a 25% discount on all yarn bundles on the PURL SOHO website, an offer which is often repeated throughout the year, and you should definitely keep your eye out for that. My personal top pick from the PURL SOHO range of yarn bundles has got to be the Linen Quill Minis. This yarn is really distinctive and it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's a blend of 50% Highland wool and 35% alpaca and 15% linen. It's an amazing blend of yarn. It's got a real softness and drape in the handle, but because of the Highland wool, it retains its structure and kind of stickiness of a fantastic colour work yarn. It's a light fingering weight, it's quite fine, but there's no limit to the joy a bundle of linen quill would give any knitter on Christmas Day, or any other day for that matter. These Linen Quill Minis are available in 2 colourways in packs of 20 for $75 US and 1 pack of 40 containing both of those two together for $150 US. There are so many pattern ideas available for linen quill, including a Paul Klee sweater, as we were talking about before. The Linen Quill Mini Set is the perfect option for that knitter in your life who did not buy an advent and who is feeling the FOMO on December 1st when they don't have those little boxes to open every day of a little yarny surprise. That is the Linen Quill Minis from PURL SOHO. Another super popular PURL SOHO pattern is the half and half triangles wrap. I've seen lots of these online and on YouTube, and the colours that I've seen chosen by different people are all fantastic. So this kit, which is again available in linen quill, is very competitively priced actually at $59.40 US for the big and $89.10 for the bigger shawl. I think that's the 25% reduced price, and it comes in a range of 19 different colour combinations. Any of those would be an absolutely fantastic gift to place under the tree for the knitter in your life. My favourite colourways are the Bird's Egg Blue and Butterscotch and the Peachy Pink and Crocus Bud, but there's a combination in there for anyone in this bundle of yarny goodness. Other notable bundles in the PURL SOHO range, I have to say, are the 9-note bundle fade set, which has got 12 amazing options of the dreamy 80% extra fine merino and 20% baby alpaca DK weight blend. That yarn would be unbelievably soft and would make a magnificent wrap or shawl. Now, I could go on all day sharing my top picks for kit and bundle gift ideas for special knitters, but I'm going to share just 2 more and then I'm going to get out of your hair. So if you have got a favourite knitting kit or bundle that I haven't shared with you today, pop it in the comments, because everyone loves a bundle. I know I certainly do, and I'll be in those comments looking at all those suggestions that I get in there. All right, knit picks. KnitPicks was founded in 2002 by Kelly and Bob Petkin. They started as a family business, and for many years they would not ship their yarn to Australia. They've since been taken over by a larger company, and I don't know who it is, but someone tell me in the comments if you do know. But now they do ship worldwide. So their mission statement says that they believe that knitting is for everyone, which is why they work hard to make knitting accessible, affordable and approachable. I think KnitPicks yarns are fairly high quality for the price, and their bundles are often reduced in a pricing model similar to what you see on PURL SOHO. So keep your eye open throughout the year for the times when the KnitPicks yarn bundles go on sale. They're not on sale right now though. So highlights for me in the KnitPicks bundle selections are the Professor Meow pullover bundle from $55 to $130 AUD. I think that's a really cute jumper. The Twin Rocks hat bundles, enough for 2 hats for about 43 Australian dollars. And the Mini Kitty cushion bundles for about 40 Australian dollars. Those 3 options I reckon are really well priced, and they'd be great under the tree gifts for any knitter in your life. I think everyone loves a bundle and a suggestion. Take the guesswork out of the knitting. What do you reckon? In the KnitPicks yarn packs, I like their palette value packs. And when I looked online, they were pretty much all sold out, but keep your eye out for those. They often do have their palette value packs in curated colour bundles, and they're a great option for the indecisive knitter. And give you a pop of colour all in one go. The other ones that I think are really good are the Dishy value packs, around about $34. That Dishy cotton yarn is made for dishcloths. It's a stash staple, and it's machine washable, and it stays bright and colourful wash after wash, and they're saying it makes the ideal choice for kitchen knits, which again make actually great gift knits. That is it. Whether you're shopping for a beginner knitter or a lifelong maker, I think that any of the gifts that I've shared today would show that you understand what knitting means to that person. And if you're just watching this for inspiration on hint dropping, I hope you found something useful. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up and ring the little bell so that you won't miss out on future content. I hate saying that. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers. I would absolutely love to get to 3,000 subscribers for Christmas. So if you want to help a girl out there and you're not subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. In the meantime, thank you for watching and happy gifting to you all. Bye.